What's up, YouTube? This is your boy Game for Daniel, aka Big D. I'm back with another Big D's Fixing Tech. And today we are going to be looking at the Thrustmaster T80 racing wheel for the PS3 and PS4. Which says right here, and yes, the box is pretty banged up. So this was a racing wheel, a little backstory. It's story time! This was a racing wheel I bought years ago when I was still living with my mom and dad. And I bought it at a local game store called Cartridge Galore around my area. Okay. So this wheel retailed for $100 brand new, but they were selling it at Cartridge Galore. And I believe I still saved the receipt. Yes, I did. So here was the receipt. So this was the receipt that I bought it in 2018, February 12th at 12:31 p.m. And I paid, what was the retail? Yeah, $68.23. So I gave the guy $70. So yeah, this wheel retailed brand new for $100, and I got it on sale for $70. So, you know, I jumped on it because I thought it was a really good deal. And it's got where it's compatible with PlayStation 4 or 3. It's got where it mounts under the table and stuff like that. Share button. It's got a bungee cord system, realistic linear resistance, return to center, PlayStation share button, PS4 and PS3 compatible, and a pedal set included. Now this was like the supposed to be like the cheaper version of the wheel. They had more expensive versions where they vibrated, they had more resistant, they would do a full like 180 degree turn. You know, you would spend more for those, and I think they were retailed at $200, but this was like the cheaper racing wheel set for the PlayStation at that time. So right here it is. Right here is the racing wheel. So when I got this little guy, well, it's not really little. I mean, it's, you know, about decent size. But when I got this guy from the store, it worked for a little while, okay? It worked for a little while, maybe a couple months. Then I had a problem where every time I would turn, it would not, like, let's say I would turn left, my car wouldn't go left. Okay, let's just say this, for example. Let's say I have the steering wheel straight. Sometimes out of nowhere, my car would go completely left or completely right. It would steer on its own when I wasn't steering it at all. You get what I'm saying? Like, my steering wheel would be right in the middle, and I could be driving, and it would just sharp turn to the left by itself. And back then, you know, like I said, I was living with my parents, so I didn't know how to work on stuff like that back then. And, you know, obviously now I do. I'm a lot older. I've gotten pretty smart when it comes to fixing electronics, when it comes to that. So now I'm finally going to, and I've had it in the box for like the longest time because it wouldn't work right for me. And, you know, like I said, I was too young to know how to work on stuff like that. And now that I know how to, I fix so many gaming consoles, like nowadays it's unreal. So I'm pretty sure I can fix this now that I'm older and smarter. I should be able to look in it, and it's probably a simple fix. You know, it's probably a simple fix. I don't know. That's why it is my goal to open a sucker up today and find out why is it turning by itself. So that is this episode of Fixing Tech, and it is Thrustmaster T80. Alright, let's go ahead and take this guy off. So this is the guy that mounts on your table. So we'll loosen that up. And I am going to take this top part off, and right here are all the screws I think there's some... There might be like a hidden screw right here. I think I feel one right there. Then obviously we got a bunch of screws on the bottom. So yeah. Let's find out why this wheel is turning on its own and not turning properly. Got my handy dandy mini toolbox. So I'm very glad I came close back then of selling this wheel, but I'm so glad that I kept it over the years, because now today is the day I'm gonna fix this thing after so many years. So I've never taken this apart until now. And like I said, I'm hoping it's an easy fix. Okay, so these screws is way down in that hole, and this ain't long enough to reach, so I'm gonna have to grab one of my longer screwdrivers. Alright, so I got my longer screwdriver, so that should fit right down in there and get that screw out of there. So I actually had to get this one because this one was a little bit too wide to go all the way down in, so this one's about long enough. So go ahead and get some of these unscrewed. There's like a bunch of screws that this sucker takes, so... And if you can't get the screw out, if you have one of these, this is a magnetizer. This will magnetize, as you see it's sticking to all these screws. You know, if you got like a little toolbox that comes with this, it's great to have when you need screws to stick to your screwdriver. So you just rub this on here, and this literally magnetizes. That literally magnetizes it. So that should stick right to it now. And boom, just like that, see? Now that I magnetize it, the screw sticks right to the screwdriver. So that makes it easy for it to pull right out of these long holes. Alright guys, so I got it open right here. Right here is the power cord. So it's strapped right on there. There's not a whole lot going on in here. Right here is the bungee cord, basically. It's basically a bungee cord. That looks like is kind of wore out. So it works like that. When you turn it, yep. Basically, it's just a bungee cord. Gives you that resistance. But other than that, everything looks fine. Everything looks fine. Everything's turning. But I'm seeing something right here. I'm thinking there's something wrong right here. This wire is going in here. I'm looking. It's got a little bit of a noise to it. You got what looks to be some hot glue. And there's a string of hot glue gun. Somebody used a hot glue gun to keep them wires together. You got more over here. Okay, there's the switch. That's the switch. And then basically the main chip is right here. There's not really much in this. So, I'm thinking there's something going on. I think there's something going on somewhere around here. Got some more hot glue, a zip tie. So I'm gonna take this cord out just so I'm not bending it and ruining it by looking at this. Alright, so about looking around, been looking around, and I was thinking around this cylinder there's gotta be a problem. But if you look right there, there looks like there's a wire that's stuck in there. And I think when you're turning it, Yeah, hold up. I'm gonna try to pull that wire out. I unscrewed the screws. See where the screws are right there? It runs right through here. So I'm gonna see where that goes. Try to pull that out without like breaking it. Because it's possible it could be shorting out. You know, you never know from like so many turning this thing around. You know, turning it so many times, it could be ward. But I want to see where this wire is coming. So I want to pull this sucker. Try to pull it. So right there is the wire. I try to pull it out as much as I can right there. It looks like it's wrapped up by something, but I think I'm gonna take some zip ties here. Alright, so that thing inside here, you see where it's like wrapped? I'm gonna have to somehow try to cut that without cutting any of the wires there where it needs to be. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna leave all this open. I'm gonna plug everything back in and see what the steering wheel does. If it fixed anything or where tested out the wheel right here. So if you look at the wheel, it's all put in there. And I don't know really what I did, but I do know that this wire was out here. So all I did was just kind of push this wire all the way in where it needs to be. And I've been testing it out, so I'll get him up. Get in here real quick. Alright, so Alright, so like I said, this wheel would set straight and it used to turn left all by itself. But now when, say I'm driving, it's actually turning the way it's supposed to. I'll see. It's staying straight, it's not turning by itself. Whoops. So yeah, it's actually working the way it's supposed to. Yep, it's actually turning when I turn. It's awesome. I'm just kind of steering it, just trying to see if it would act up. It's not acting up at all. Yep, I'm driving straight. Yep, it's working great. So honestly, that was the problem. Honestly, it was just this wire needed shoved in there. I'm assuming, you know, it was just kind of shortening out because it was shoved out here. So, you know, just kind of mess with it, and that's what I did. I messed with the wires, and now it's working great. Yep. Working great. So now, all I gotta do now is just put the steering wheel back together, put the screws back in, and honestly, I think I just fixed this old steering wheel of mine. Heck yeah. And it even recognizes your steering wheel has been disconnected, which, like I said, plugs in by this USB right here. Alright, so go ahead and unmount it right here. And let's go put it back together. Go ahead and grab the shell. And before you put the shell on, make sure this goes right in here. Kind of slides down like that. guys, that is how you fix the Thrustmaster T80 or any Thrustmaster steering wheel. Just kind of mess around with the wires and hopefully that fixes your problem. And be sure to like, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next Big D's Fixing Tech videos. I'm out this thing. Peace out, everyone. I'm finally gonna enjoy my old steering wheel again. Heck yeah.